Welcome back to the Bookcast. Today we are unpacking every layer of the incredible novel, Pride and Prejudice. Get ready for a deep dive into its characters, themes, and the hidden meanings behind the story.
It really is a masterpiece, isn't it? All about shifting perspectives, misjudgments, and, well, finally finding that true connection. Jane Austen's wit, of course.
Absolutely. And today we're really zeroing in on those huge turning points, the moments that just shatter everything you thought you knew about the characters and their relationship.
Right. Those moments where everything changes.
Exactly. And the first big one has to be Elizabeth Bennet's visit to Pemberley, Mr. Darcy's place. Now, up to this point, Elizabeth's opinion of Darcy is, well, let's just say it's not great.
Not great is putting it mildly. She pretty much despises him.
Right. But the moment she gets near Pemberley, something starts to shift.
Yeah.
What is it about the place itself that starts chipping away at that prejudice?
Well, it's brilliant how Austen uses the actual setting. Pemberley isn't flashy like Rosings, like Lady Catherine's place. Elizabeth found that way too over the top. Pemberley's described as a large, handsome stone building standing well on rising ground, and the stream nearby is swelled into greater, but without any artificial stuff. It's grand, yeah, but it's got this natural elegance.
So it kind of mirrors Darcy himself.
Yeah.
Substantial, but not fake.
Exactly. It subtly reflects his true character. And Elizabeth sees this, and it's like the first little crack in her certainty that he's this awful, proud monster. It makes her think, maybe, just maybe, there's more to him.
And it's not just the outside, is it? She notices the inside is neither gaudy nor uselessly fine, and it has more real elegance than Rosings. That feels like more than just interior design critique.
Oh, absolutely. Austen does this all the time, using the environment to show character. Pemberley's understated style points to Darcy's genuine taste, his inner substance, you could say. It's a stark contrast to Rosings, which is all surface, just like Lady Catherine's pride.
So Pemberley forces Elizabeth the question if her judgment, based on, well, gossip and first impressions, was totally wrong.
Precisely. It challenges her senses, her assumptions.
And then she has that internal wobble, that what-if moment. And of this place, I might have been mistress.
It's so relatable, isn't it? Thinking about the life she turned down.
It really is. But then she pulls back so quickly, thinking, but no, my uncle and aunt would have been lost to me.
Right. She assumes Darcy wouldn't let her invite them.
Yeah, and that shows her values, her loyalty. But the fact that she even has that flicker of regret, that what if, shows how complex she is. The desire for what Pemberley represents is there, even if she dismisses it based on her old ideas about Darcy's pride.
Okay, so her view is starting to soften, and then comes the housekeeper, Mrs. Reynolds. You'd sort of expect Darcy's head servant to be maybe a bit stiff.
You might, yeah. But she's described as respectable-looking, elderly, much less fine, and more civil than Elizabeth expected. Completely approachable.
And that sets the stage for some major revelations, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Mrs. Reynolds just starts singing Darcy's praises, calls him the sweetest-tempered, most generous-hearted boy in the world. Can you imagine Elizabeth hearing this? It must have blown her mind. She also says he's the best landlord and the best master that ever lived, and she pushes back on the idea he's proud.
Yeah, she says, to my fancy, it is only because he does not rattle away like other young men. Basically, he's just quiet, not stuck up.
She even mentions he's just as affable to the poor as his father was. And Elizabeth's reaction is literally, can this be Mr. Darcy? It completely contradicts everything she believed.
And this testimony is so powerful because it's from someone who knows him intimately, day in, day out, since he was 4. It forces Elizabeth to question Wickham's lies and her own snap judgments.
And the detail about him fixing up a room for his sister, Miss Darcy.
Right. It shows his devoted brother this whole other side Elizabeth had no idea about.
So with all this swirling in her head, Elizabeth goes looking for Darcy's portrait in the gallery. She wants to see the face she knows amidst all these paintings.
Yeah, and she finds it, sees a striking resemblance, and crucially a smile, as she remembered to have sometimes seen when he looked at her.
What's the significance there?
Well, it connects the dots. That smile she perhaps once thought was smug, now, combined with Mrs. Reynolds' words, feels different. Feels warm, maybe. Good.
Right.
And it leads her to this big thought. As a brother, a landlord, a master, she considered how many people's happiness were in his guardianship. She starts seeing his influence, his responsibility.
And feels gratitude, the text says. More than admiration.
Exactly. That's the shift. Prejudice is fading, and something much warmer, much closer to affection is starting to grow, rooted in this new understanding.
And just as she's processing all this, Bam! The universe throws a curveball. She's walking by the river with the gardeners, and guess who shows up?
Mr. Darcy himself literally bumps into them within 20 yards. The timing is just incredible storytelling.
The awkwardness must have been intense. It says they both blush deeply.
Oh, yeah. And Darcy absolutely started, completely taken aback. He manages to be polite, asking about her family, but he's not composed. And for Elizabeth, seeing him flustered, him surprised. That's huge.
Because she's always seen him as so controlled, so aloof.
Exactly. It makes him seem human, vulnerable.
Meanwhile, Elizabeth is astonished and confused. She can hardly look at him. And she notices immediately how different his manner is.
Yeah, none of his usual sedateness. He's asking questions quickly, repeatedly. It's a total change from how he was at Rosings.
And she's instantly mortified, thinking, oh no, he's going to think I planned this, that I chased him here.
Which tells you a lot about her state of mind, too. But his change, what's that about? It's pretty clear, isn't it?
He's still interested.
Yeah.
Very interested. And maybe he's changed too.
Definitely. The proud man is gone, replaced by someone trying, maybe a little awkwardly, to make a good impression. When he comes back later, more composed, and asks to be introduced to the gardeners.
Her relations. The ones he looked down on before.
Precisely. Elizabeth is amazed, amused even, thinking, he probably thinks they're posh. But he handles it, even after finding out who they are. That takes effort. Fortitude, as Austen puts it.
It really chips away at her image of him as this unbearable snob. But she's still questioning it, isn't she? Wondering, why is he so altered? It cannot be for me.
She still struggles to believe it, yeah. It's hard to shake off such strong first impressions. But the evidence keeps piling up.
Like when he asks to introduce his sister Georgiana to her.
That's a massive gesture of respect and trust. Elizabeth gets it. She sees it as a compliment of the highest kind. It shows his resentment is gone, that he doesn't think badly of her anymore.
And the gardeners see the change too. They find him infinitely superior to what they expected. Mrs. Gardner even says she sees nothing of the pride people talk about.
Having objective observers like the gardeners confirm the change is key. It's not just in Elizabeth's head, and Elizabeth herself starts defending him a bit, mentioning Wickham's story might not be the whole truth.
The full picture is slowly coming into focus. And then Darcy and his sister actually visit Elizabeth and the gardeners the next day.
And Georgiana turns out to be shy, not proud, like Wickham claimed. Another lie exposed. Plus, we see Bingley still keen on Jane.
A little bit of hope there.
Yep. And it all culminates in Darcy and Georgiana inviting Elizabeth and the gardeners for dinner at Pemberley. It's a complete reversal.
So how is Elizabeth feeling after all this?
Well, the book spells it out. She certainly did not hate him. No, hatred had vanished long ago. Respect for his qualities is now heightened into somewhat of a friendlier nature.
And then the big one, gratitude.
Above all, gratitude. For his changed behavior, for the compliments, and she starts wondering how far she wished that welfare to depend upon herself. The seeds of love are definitely sown.
Okay, so things are looking up. Elizabeth seeing Darcy differently. He's clearly still interested. And then disaster strikes. 2 letters arrive from Jane.
Oh, this bit is gut-wrenching. The first letter says Lydia, the youngest, wildest sister, has run off to Scotland, supposedly to marry Wickham.
Jane, bless her, tries to hope it's a genuine match, that Wickham's not so bad.
But the second letter, written just a day later, delivers the horrible truth. Wickham never meant to marry her. They were traced to London, then vanished. The family is falling apart. Mrs. Bennet's ill. Mr. Bennet's beside himself. It's a total scandal.
And the impact on Elizabeth is immediate guilt. Crushing guilt.
Yeah, she's overpowered by shame and vexation because she knew Wickham was bad news, but she kept quiet. She thinks, had his character been known, this could not have happened.
It's a brutal moment of self-awareness for her, isn't it? Her pride in her own judgment comes crashing down.
Absolutely. Her silence, partly rooted in her own dislike of Darcy, has had terrible consequences. It forces her to confront her own flaws, her own role in this mess.
And in another twist of awful timing, who walks in right as she's reading these letters?
Mr. Darcy, of course. He sees her face, her distress, and she just blurts it all out, the whole story. Wickham's debts, the disgrace, her own guilt.
How does Darcy react?
He's fixed in astonishment, grieved, shocked. He paces the room, deep in thought, looking incredibly serious. It's intense.
And Elizabeth assumes this is the final nail in the coffin for any chance with him. She thinks everything must sink under such a proof of family weakness.
Right. And ironically, it's in that moment, believing all hope is lost, that she realizes never had she so honestly felt that she could have loved him. Just as she sees his worth, she thinks the family shame makes any future impossible. Utter misery for her.
Meanwhile, back home, it's chaos. Mrs. Bennet's blaming everyone else, Mary's moralizing.
Typical. And Elizabeth is piecing together just how bad Wickham really is, regretting not speaking up sooner. The whole town turns against Wickham as his debts come out. Mr. Gardner goes to London to search, but finds nothing initially.
And then, just to rub salt in the wound, Mr. Collins sends that awful letter.
Ugh, that letter, calling it a grievous affliction and saying Lydia's death would have been better. So callous.
It really shows his character and Lady Catherine's influence, doesn't it?
Mm.
All about appearances and worrying how it affects the other daughter's marriage prospects. Grim stuff.
Very grim. It highlights the harsh social reality they lived in.
But after all that darkness, a ray of hope. A letter arrives from Mr. Gardner.
Yes! Good news. Finally. He's found them. But crucially, they're not married, and Wickham never intended to be.
Oh, dear. But Gardner has made a deal.
He has. Mr. Bennet has to guarantee Lydia her share of the inheritance and pay £100 a year. And Gardner hints Wickham's situation isn't quite as hopeless as everyone thought. There's some money to settle his debts and provide for Lydia. They're getting married at the Gardiner's house.
Phew. Huge relief. But how? How did Gardner manage this? Wickham seemed broke and unwilling.
Exactly. That's the big question hanging in the air.
And the answer comes from the most unlikely source, Lydia herself. She comes back home after the wedding, completely unchanged, bragging about it all.
Still wild, noisy, and fearless. Classic Lydia.
And then she just casually drops the bombshell. Yeah. Mr. Darcy was at her wedding.
Just like that. Elizabeth is floored, completely amazed. She writes to Mrs. Gardner, immediately demanding an explanation.
And Mrs. Gardner's reply reveals everything. It turns out Darcy went straight to London after hearing the news from Elizabeth at Pemberley.
His motive. He felt responsible. He believed it was owing to himself that Wickham's worthlessness had not been so well known. He saw it as his duty to fix the mess his own silence, his own pride had partly caused.
Wow. So he hunted them down.
Yeah, he tracked them down using Wickham's old accomplice, Mrs. Young, Miss Darcy's disgraced former governess. Required some, bribery and corruption, as Mrs. Gardner puts it.
And he found out Wickham definitely wasn't planning to marry Lydia.
Nope. Just dodging debts. So Darcy stepped in. He negotiated with Wickham, paid off his gambling debts over £1,000, which was a fortune, settled another £1,000 on Lydia, and bought Wickham a new commission in the army.
He paid for everything. Secretly.
Pretty much. He did it discreetly, partly to avoid exposing Wickham further, but also because he felt his own past pride played a role. He paid the money, attended the wedding. Incredible.
This must completely change Elizabeth's perspective.
Again. Oh, completely. All those vague suspicions she might have had are confirmed. And then some. She realizes her heart did whisper that he'd done it for her. Gratitude, respect, admiration. It all solidifies into love right there. She sees his true character, his generosity, his willingness to act, even at personal cost and inconvenience.
What an incredible turnaround for Darcy's character arc.
Oh.
But just when we think we're heading for a resolution, enter Lady Catherine de Bourgh.
Ah, yes, the final obstacle. She descends upon Longbourn like a storm cloud, more than usually ungracious.
And she gets straight to the point. She's heard rumors Elizabeth and Darcy are getting engaged and demands Elizabeth deny this scandalous falsehood.
But Elizabeth isn't the same person Lady Catherine bullied at Rosings. She's cool, collected, refuses to be intimidated.
Lady Catherine brings up the supposed childhood engagement between Darcy and her own daughter.
But Elizabeth bats that away brilliantly. If Mr. Darcy is neither by honor nor inclination confined to his cousin, why is not he to make another choice? And if I am that choice, why may not I accept him? Boom.
Love that line. Lady Catherine threatens her with social ruin, being despised by Darcy's family.
And Elizabeth's comeback is pure gold. The wife of Mr. Darcy must have such extraordinary sources of happiness that she could, upon the whole, have no cause to repine. Basically, I think I'll manage, thanks.
Lady Catherine is furious, calls her an obstinate, headstrong girl. But crucially, Elizabeth never actually denies an engagement as possible. She just refuses to promise not to marry him.
And that's the key. Lady Catherine leaves in a rage, determined to stop it. But ironically, her interference has the exact opposite effect.
How so?
Darcy later tells Elizabeth that Lady Catherine reported their conversation to him. And Elizabeth's refusal to promise not to marry him, her clear strength of character in standing up to his aunt, that gave him hope. He knew she wouldn't play games. If she'd been dead set against him, she would have told Lady Catherine straight.
So Lady C actually gave him the final push he needed. Oh, the irony.
It's delicious, isn't it? Her attempt to control everything backfired spectacularly and paved the way for the final act.
Okay, so the stage is set. Bingley comes back to Netherfield.
Much to Mrs. Bennet's delight, Jane tries to play it cool, but fails miserably.
And Darcy comes with him,
Yeah,
which makes things awkward for Elizabeth because she hasn't told Jane about Darcy rescuing Lydia yet.
right. And Mrs. Bennet makes things even more awkward with her fawning over Bingley and being horribly rude and cold to Darcy. Elizabeth is just cringing.
Darcy seems a bit reserved at first, apparently looking more at Jane than Elizabeth. That must have worried her.
A little blip of doubt, perhaps. And then Mrs. Bennet just barrels in, asking Bingley about the Wickham marriage, broadcasting the family shame. Mortifying for Elizabeth.
But through it all, it's clear Bingley only has eyes for Jane.
Thankfully, yes. And Mrs. Bennet's not-so-subtle attempts to leave them alone finally work. They get engaged.
Yay. Jane tells Elizabeth she's the happiest creature in the world.
Then Elizabeth is genuinely thrilled for her sister. Bingley's happy, Mr. Bennet gives his blessing. It's lovely.
Jane also finds out Bingley had no idea she was in London that spring. It was his sister's meddling.
Yeah, which clears the air between them, though Jane knows things with his sisters won't ever be quite the same. And Elizabeth is glad Bingley didn't blame his friends, meaning Darcy keeping that intervention quiet for now.
So one happy couple sorted. Now for the main event. Darcy's second proposal. He goes to see Mr. Bennet.
And asks for Elizabeth's hand. Elizabeth is worried sick about upsetting her father, knowing she's his favorite.
And Mr. Bennet is, understandably, completely baffled. Lizzie, are you out of your senses? You always hated him. He can't see how she could be happy or respect him.
It's a fair question, based on what he knew. But Elizabeth tearfully convinces him, I do like him. I love him. Indeed, he has no improper pride. He is perfectly amiable.
She explains how her view changed, lists all his good qualities. She really stands up for him.
And that convinces Mr. Bennet. If this be the case, he deserves you. Then Elizabeth tells him about Darcy sorting out the whole Lydia situation.
Her dad is stunned. Darcy did everything. Made up the match, gave the money, paid the fellow's debts. Huge relief for him, too, knowing the family honor is salvaged. And by Darcy, no less.
So with her father's blessing, she tells Jane. And Jane's reaction? Total disbelief at first.
You are joking, Lizzie. Engaged to Mr. Darcy. No, I know it to be impossible.
But Elizabeth reassures her, joking, perhaps I did not always love him so well as I do now. Jane is overjoyed when she believes it, saying she always valued him, especially for loving Elizabeth.
Elizabeth even jokes her love started when she saw Pemberley. A little nod to where it all began to change.
It's a lovely sisterly moment.
And then, Mrs. Bennet. How does she take the news?
Oh, it's pure comedy gold. Speechless at first, then explodes with delight. Good gracious, Lord bless me, Mr. Darcy. How rich and how great you will be. What pin money, what jewels. Jane's is nothing to it.
All about the status and wealth. She instantly loves him now. Such a charming man. So handsome, so tall. Wants to know his favorite dish immediately.
Bless her heart. She never changes. It's such a brilliant contrast to the deep, emotional journey Darcy and Elizabeth have been on.
And finally, that wonderful conversation between Darcy and Elizabeth where they really talk everything through. She teases him, asking how he even started liking her.
And he admits he can't pinpoint the exact moment. I was in the middle before I knew that I had begun. Which feels very real for how love can develop.
He confesses he was drawn to the liveliness of your mind, how she challenged him, unlike other women who just flattered him.
And then he makes that huge confession about his own upbringing, how he was taught to be selfish and overbearing, and credits her. You taught me a lesson. By you, I was properly humbled.
That's the core of his transformation, isn't it? Acknowledging his flaws and how she changed him.
Absolutely. He admits he initially thought she was angling for his proposal, reveals his real reason for coming back was to see if he could win her love, explains why he intervened with Lydia, that sense of responsibility, and confesses about his interference with Bingley and Jane and how he later regretted it and told Bingley the truth.
And confirms that Lady Catherine's visit actually gave him hope. Its full disclosure laying everything bare. They finally understand each other completely.
It's incredibly satisfying they've both grown so much.
So the aftermath. How does it all shake out for everyone?
Well, Mr. Bennet really misses Elizabeth, visits Pemberley often, which is sweet. Bingley and Jane wisely move away from Mrs. Bennet after a while.
Sensible move. And Lydia and Wickham.
Still reckless, still asking for money. Darcy helps Wickham professionally for Elizabeth's sake, but won't have him at Pemberley. Some lines have to be drawn.
What about Miss Bingley?
She swallows her pride, basically. Makes nice with Elizabeth to keep her connection to Darcy and Pemberley. Very pragmatic.
And Georgiana?
She and Elizabeth become incredibly close. Georgiana is amazed by Elizabeth's playful way with Darcy, having always been in awe of him. Elizabeth helps her see a different side to him, a more relaxed intimacy.
That's lovely. And Lady Catherine?
Furious, naturally. But Darcy eventually smooths things over, enough for politeness' sake, mainly for Elizabeth. And the Gardiners remain their closest friends, always credited with bringing them together in Derbyshire.
A fitting end, recognizing the people who truly supported them.
Exactly. It all comes together beautifully, showing growth, forgiveness, and the importance of genuine connection over pride and prejudice.
And there you have it. Thanks for spending a little bit of your day with us and this story. If you enjoyed it, a simple like or subscribe helps the channel out more than you know. Be good and take care.